Varieties of Daedra by Arania Drethon, healer and dissident priest. There is little chance of our ever understanding the various orders of Daedra and their relationship to the Daedra lords and their dominions. Of the varieties of Daedra that appear in our world, and the varieties of their relationships to their fellows and their Daedra patrons, there is no end. In one place and time they are seen to be this, and in another place and time they are seen to be the opposite, and in another place and time they are seen to be both this and that, in completely contradictory terms. What Daedra serves this prince, what Daedra gives orders, and what Daedra serves, and in what hierarchy, and under what circumstances. What Daedra exists in fellowship with one another, and what Daedra have eternal enmity to one another, and what Daedra are solitary or social, and by turns solitary or social. There are no limits to the varieties and behaviors that may be observed, and in one place they may be this, and in another place they may be that, and in all rules describing them are always found in the contradictory and in exception to others. Further, from whom may we seek answers to our questions about these orders? From mortals who know little but what they may observe of another world? From the gods who speak in riddles of enigmas wrapped in mysteries and who keep things from us, the better to preserve their dominion over us? From the Daedra themselves, who are never the models of straightforwardness or truth-telling, but rather are famous for misstatements and obfuscations? And even were the Daedra to speak the truth, how can we know if they know themselves, or that there is any truth about them that is to be known? Or are all arrangements among the Daedra protean and ever subject to change? In short, what is to be known is little, and what is to be trusting is nothing. These things being said, I shall venture to relate what I have observed and heard of the relationships of the servants of the Lord Dagon in my brief service to the Tilvani wizard of Deviafir, when I sought him out and offered to bring peace to the victims of Corpus and his sanitarium, once in the prophecies and the incarnate had been fulfilled, and Dagoth-ur, who had been destroyed, and the blight had been vanished from the island of Vardenfell forever. Diveth-Fear told me that he, by choice, trafficked only with two Daedra powers, Memrunis Dagon and Azura. Azura, he said, knew and understood all things, and declined to speak of these things, or only speak in riddles. Memrunis Dagon, on the other hand, out of pride, fixedly of purpose, and a predictable lack of subtlety in thought, knew nothing and understood nothing, and was inclined to speak freely and without falsehood. Diveth-Fear said that Dagon's chief servants, the Dremora, were like him in pride, fixed purpose, and lack of subtlety, with the addition of the peculiar traits of honor and loyalty, both within their class and within the relationship of Lord Dagon. And Diveth-Fear said that the Dremora were ordered into clans and castes, and these clans and castes were well defined. Individual Dremora might rise or fall in ranks, or move back and forth among clans, but only when regulated by complex oaths, and only at the will and pleasure of their Lord Dagon. The Dremora refer to themselves as the kin, the people, contrasting themselves with the other Daedra, whom they consider unthinking animals. The term kinas, referring to the members of the Dremora race, he of the kin. The least of kin castes are the churls, the undistinguished rabble of the lowest ranks of Dremora. Churls are obsequious to superiors, but furiously cruel to humans and other Daedra. Next in rank are the caitiffs, creatures of uncalculating zeal, energy without discrimination. Caitiffs are used as irregulars in the faction wars of the Daedra, as berserkers and shock troops, undisciplined and unreliable, but eager and willing. The highest of the regular rank and file Dremora troops are the Cainvals, warrior knights, who have distinguished themselves in battle and shown deliberate steadiness of potential war leaders. Above the rank and file warriors are the churl, caiteless, and Cainval castes are the officer castes. A Kenreeve is a clan sheriff or clan officer. Kenreeves are typically associated either with a clan lighting unit or an administrative office in the order of battle. The Kenmarkers is the lord and high officer of the Daedric citadel, outpost, or gate. A Kenmarcher's commands is usually associated both with a unit and with a fief, a location or territory for which he is responsible. Above the Kenmarchers is the Marquesas, or Grand Duke. A Marquess is a Lord of Lords and member of the Marquine, Mehrunes Dagon's Council of Lords. The highest rank of Dremora are the Valkinas, or Prince. This warrior duke is a member of the Valkine, Mehrunes Dagon's personal guard. The Valkines are rarely encountered on Tamriel. Normally, they remain by Mehrunes Dagon's side, or serve as commanders of operations of particular importance or interest to Dagon. Of the varieties of other Daedra I encountered while I served in Danvant Fear's Corpunacerium, Ogrims and Golden Saints, Daedrots and Winged Twilights, Scamps and Clanfear, there is much that might be said, but little that is helpful or reliable. I did note, however, that when Divathfir sought a Daedra of a character like unto the Dremora, but of greater power and greater inclination for independence and initiative, or solely as a master, he summoned Xivile, who are like the Dremora in personality and temperament, except that they hate subordination and are liable to disloyalty and betrayal when they feel they have not been treated with the proper deference and respect. The feral, beast-like Daedra, like the Clanfear and the Daedroth, appear in the service of many different Daedric powers, and may represent common creatures existing in the wild animals and wilderness of Oblivion. Our savage, semi-intelligent creatures like the Scamps and Spider Daedra may also be found in the realms of various Daedra lords. The case of the elemental Atronachs, on the other hand, is less certain. Flame and Frost Atronachs, for example, appear to be highly intelligent, but not all varieties of elemental Atronachs seem to be social or to have the power of speech. Divathfir preferred not to summon or deal with these creatures, had little experience with them, and showed no inclination to speculate upon their nature, so I deemed little about them during my time in Telfir. And that were explained the varieties of Daedra.